Alrighty guys, here with another little video. I'm in Rock Hill, PA. Gonna ride the East Broad Top Railroad, the train and the trolley today. There's the gift shop and the ticket booth. Just got our ticket. We're gonna walk over here now and look for the trolley. Well, that's the train that we'll be riding. Alright, there's the old M100 little, that'd be cool to have there. There's some, I guess that's the trolley we're taking right here. Oh, check that out.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
A little bit warm,
Yeah.
otherwise undamaged so far.
I hear you.
There will be a breeze once we start moving. That is still 10 minutes from now.
Alrighty.
Does anybody have questions while we're waiting? Yes, sir.
Is this on a hill?
Are we on a hill right now? We're on a very slight slope, I think, coming out of the car barn. As we go out to the end of the line, we will be climbing.
Bunch of
not
these.
real
I'll just
steep,
show a
but
couple of them.
You'll notice that we have a lot more power going out than coming
Got 10 minutes before we take off, so.
A mostly gentle downgrade.
Well, I was here before years ago.
Okay.
I don't know where I heard this, but someone said they parked down on a hill, so if there's a fire.
You can have the pauses to read it, you can.
Have them go out on the power. There's no electric when there's a fire.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah, the goal is not to have a fire in the car.
And the old handles.
Well, it makes sense though. I mean, if it was on a sleigh hill,
Alright.
there's a fire.
Sit down and check out that old piece there. Yeah.
runs from Rock Hill and makes its way down to Shade Gap and splits. Part goes to Park Cabin, part of it would go out to Healington until it walks into the base of the mountain. The base of the mountain, it would run north and south to serve the iron mines. The main revenue on this line would have been the iron, as well as the limestone, all to go into the iron furnace at Rock Hill. And we'll stop there here in a little bit. The line that you're riding on now, the fall of 1960, this car started our trolley museum. It was brought from Johnstown, who had closed on June 11, 1960. By the fall of 1960, this car was sitting over by the East Broadtop shops and was meant to just simply be a static display. Then, as you all know how it goes, when you have an antique vintage car, it's not going to just simply set still. So the men got together, they started to give it a little bit of a facelift. They found the way to come up with a generator and an extension cord and run just a couple hundred feet of track. And from 1960 until now, we've managed to make our way here to River 5.2. Every now and again I have visitors ask, well, why don't you go further? Because we're responsible for that grade crossing. And we only use it a couple times a day. And we typically, at that time, we're only using it on weekends. And it's a huge insurance liability, and it is very expensive to maintain one of those grade crossings. Besides, with an all-volunteer staff, we have a mile of right-of-way. This gives us the time we can concentrate on our cars, on our collection. And because we're volunteers, we're responsible for operation, track work, restoration work, overhead electrical work. Whatever we can do, we try to do it in-house. There are projects that we do have to find contractors for, like our electric motors or wheel work, something like that. Otherwise, we try to do it ourselves. Okay? If you have questions while you're visiting with us today, please ask. All right? Now, Lawrence has turned around the outside of the car. This is a double-ended car. We're at the end of the line. Most people don't like to ride backwards, so I will help you. We'll walk your seats over, and you can face the front of the car. Okay? Very simple. Just watch your knees and your fingers.
Alright, so now that we turned around, we flipped the seats.
If it's a little difficult,
Flip the seats, and now we're heading this way.
do it all the way to the Shade Gap. Lived in the community where you started your trolley and your train ride today would work out here at the furnace, or for the railroad, the coal mines, or the iron mines. So a lot today, I mean, we're in a very small community today, just a couple of hundred people. So you can imagine a community here at Rock Hill or Orbizonia, maybe into the thousands for a population at one time. Rock Hill Furnace goes into blast in 1876. This industry is the start of the East Broadtop Railroad. And probably one of the oldest portions of the railroad is to bring the iron ore in and the limestone in to the furnace. Now, with the discovery of coal in southern Huntington County on the Broadtop coal field, that material will be brought north here to the Rock Hill Furnace. Out in the woods are the beehive ovens. They'll take and run the coal hoppers on top of the ovens, dump their cargo inside that oven. They light them, they seal them up. They're going to bake out the impurities out of the coal, okay, into coke. So this is an advancement in technology in some ways. there are some things that don't change in the technology here. But coke is one of them, the fuel, right? The other, if we look at this is a hot blast furnace. So what you see here is the remains of the blast engine house. There would have been steam boilers in there, or steam engines in there to run the flywheel, to run a bellows type system, to draw off the heated air, mix it with fresh air, and push it back into the furnace. That brings your temperature up. You get more product for all of your manual labor. Two advancements in technology here. Now, there are some things that don't change. This furnace still has to be loaded from the top, just like the charcoal iron furnaces. All the material has to go in the top. So the men working in the stockhouse, behind each of the brickwork cylinders that you see, is a rectangular tower, an air pressure tower. They're going to use that as their lift to bring the materials to the top of the furnace and load in the top. And you load in layers, kind of like a piece of lasagna, if you will. You start with your fuel, you add in your ore and your flux, which is the limestone. You do alternating layers. They'll bring up the fire slowly, close the top of it. In a blast, now I don't have all the particulars on temperatures and time, okay? An estimated time for me, I would say 48 to 72 hours for a blast, okay? The first thing that we have to draw off the bottom of that furnace is the slag. So when you're walking around today, you'll see little bits and pieces of something that looks like a dried up sponge or moon rock. That is the slag. That will come out of the bottom of that furnace in a molten form. It's nearly 100 degrees today. Could you imagine working in that cast house today? Okay? And we all got shorts and t-shirts on, all right? So you draw off your slag first. That has to get hauled out of here and dumped. The next to come off of your furnace is the molten iron. Now that cast house floor is mostly sand. It will have forms in it, so imagine our trolley car as a form. You have a main central trough. There'll be multiple of them. Off on either side, we're going to have molds for ingots of iron, or pig of iron. Okay, pigs. What is it? Pig iron. Okay, there we go. Get it out. All right. So we're going to form these ingots of iron. The men working that floor, the puddlers, are going to direct that molten material off to form those ingots. I would estimate an ingot being anywhere from 250 to 500 pounds of red hot molten material. Today, imagine working in that room with no electric fans, relying on our breeze. Men, you'll be in heavy linen wool pants and shirt, leather shoes with a wooden plate on the bottom to protect your feet, probably a set of gloves, a hat on your head, maybe a leather apron to protect you. It's a 12-hour shift, man. Okay? 6 days a week. Off on Sundays. I would absolutely with certainty say you'll be off for Christmas and maybe Thanksgiving. Otherwise, it's a 6 day a week, 12-hour shift. All right? So when you leave that cast house working today at 125 or 150 degrees in there, and you come outside and it's 90 degrees and a bit breezy at the end of your 12-hour shift, you're going to go, thank you, that feels so good. All right? When this closes in 1907, this type of material goes off of demand. We're switching from cast iron materials to steel. The steel industry is improving. Okay, they're doing technology advancements as well. This one goes by wayside. I will tell you that this, like I said, this is coke fired. I will tell you, up in the northern portion of Huntingdon County at Greenwood Furnace, which is now a state park, they were still charcoaling into the 1920s and 30s. So this is not the last of the furnaces in our area, nor is it the first. Okay, the first went into blast between 1790 and 1795 over town. So iron is readily available. It's still here even. Okay?
How much did they pay?
So that's the old Rock Hill furnace from 1876 to
If it's like
1907.
anything, it might be by weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Back then, when men was men. Well, this is the end of the trolley ride at Rock Hill Furnace, the old Broad Top Railroad. Pretty interesting, pretty cool. So we'll end this one here, and that'll be it. Alrighty, so that was the old trolley ride at the Broad Top Railroad. Now we're gonna head over, and pretty soon here we'll catch the train. That'll be part 2. So catch you on the next one.